country?
Every country.
And employees and stairs there for party.
Thank you so much. Instagram, you couldn't bottle it up anymore. You made claims about
a neighborhood of Moreno Valley, California, and Los Angeles, she was nothing of a mother, but I had enough of dealing with them at 4 o'clock in the morning. I had enough of being the favorite, and taking me to Hollywood elite parties over and out of the country, which is, you would think would be where and everybody is so worried about the elite. And we could give those names of Barack Obama, Joe Biden. We know about Michelle Obama, that's a man. We know about Too Short. We know about children are coming up in your face that have been tortured and abused like this. It exists and it's real. And people.
And that's because they're still dealing with this.
Them look the way they look. Their image is not what you think it is.
That's the majority of my job, is working with those teams and helping them to figure out when, where rituals are going to be, and when and where the kids will be there. I would see over 1,000 deaths a month just by the hand of one person who was my proctor. That was the individual I was being trained to take her position. When we look at numbers now, some of the things that we're taking into play are children that are being trafficked through the CPS system. So, just last year, over 800,000 children in the CPS system in the United States went missing and are unaccounted for. Yeah, the whole thing is Luciferian. So all of those people that we named, all of them at those levels are worshiping Satan.
And so, in your opinion, is Trump trying to, it seems like Trump is trying to take him down, because since he came in, that's when, because that's when the child, you guys have been taking children out of tunnels, you've been saving so many kids. Before that, it's been nobody. And that's why we're seeing this crazy pushback that seems ridiculous against Trump, that makes no sense.
Right. And from my understanding, so again, I'm not the one, I'm working with some of these teams who are doing this stuff, supplying information. But from what I understand is that it really was a few good men who were Marines who approached Trump and, were basically like, we have to stop these people. And so, they were the ones in different times when they were, some of them that were called out to different wars that they served in. They saw the child abuse, they saw the trafficking in the tunnel systems. So they knew that stuff was happening. And so they're really the main force behind all this, saying, hey, for the sake of our country, for the sake of our children, these, and they speak truth when they say that these Luciferian people, and this goes right along with Satan's agenda from when I was a child, he does not intend to allow anybody to live. Just to give people kind of an idea about this. So like in my family line, we supposedly have a family cabin. And so, this cabin is long paid off. The land, my family owns this, so it's long paid off. But what they do, and still to this day, is that when you turn age 30, you buy in. You buy in to the trust, and every month you pay $500 into this trust. Now, if this is already paid off, okay, and we're talking every family member for generations now pays $500 a month into into this trust. Okay. So this is how, all these families, this is how they all run. They all have a trust that at a certain age, they're required to buy in and pay this certain amount of money every month that goes into this financial system. Um, then you have what is considered their assets. Okay, these are the individuals who are bringing the money into the system. So that's going to be the kids that they're selling. First, they sell the children for sex, so they get money for that. Um, and let's just go with one child. So for each child, first they make money off the child for sex. Then when that child can no longer be used for sex, they offer, for the child to either people can buy organs, so they make money off organ harvesting, or people can also buy to ritually kill the child. Okay. So after the child has died, then they can pay more money, and people will have to, I'll give a little warning here and I'll say it as lightly as I can, but basically they pay money to eat the flesh. Okay, so they cannibalize this child, and the child may not even be dead yet. So it might just, they may do a ritual that ends in cannibalism.
Is there a benefit for eating them when they're still alive? I know it's really bad. I'm sorry, everybody, but I got to ask that question.
Most of that is because of the fear and the adrenochrome in the blood.
Now, the adrenochrome, is that something that is highly valuable and sold then too?
Yeah, it's like a drug. And so, yes, the adrenochrome is sold as well. So some of these individuals prefer to get it from a live source versus something that has been procured into what would be more like a tincture or a liquor. So they prefer to get their adrenochrome fresh. So you've got that where they pay for that, and after that, the body is put, whatever remains is put into an incinerator. So this is where a lot of people don't understand the whole Jesuit Catholic Church connection. One of the main things with those churches is, one, they were built on top of catacombs. Those, for the longest time, everybody was told that that's just where they bury people. Okay. But the catacombs are really used extensively in rituals. And they also, the majority of them come equipped with an incinerator. And you can look this up. You can search memorial diamonds. I'm not saying that all the funeral homes that do memorial diamonds are involved with these Luciferians, but what I want to show people is that it doesn't take millions and millions of years to get a diamond, that these people are able to high pressurize remains into diamonds that then they keep as trophies or they sell on the market for mass amounts of money.
And those aren't the same as synthetic diamonds. Those are a different caliber.
I guess we should question what really is a synthetic diamond. These would be passed off as real diamonds the majority of the time. I believe some of the synthetic ones are those diamonds that won't sell for high-end money on the market. So they then say they're synthetic and try to sell them that way. Some are made from plastics or other types of material. But it really gets into this whole realm. I would encourage people to really research a lot of that, because I think a lot of it, we're going to find a lot of hidden truths coming out in this, about that they're using human remains to make these things that we wear as jewelry, different stones and stuff like that. So they would sell that child, then their remains would become a diamond or something like that. Sometimes they take, again, graphic warning, the skin can be used for different things. So sometimes that's sold as well.
But is it sold as different animal skin so people don't even know?
Sometimes, yes. So, uh, some of it you would see, some of the things that have already come out are like the Pope and some of the Red Shoe Club, that those shoes
Yes.
are made out of human skin. Um, so that was one of the ways that they were making extra money off of, and again, we're talking just one child's journey in death. This is all they have profited that many times off of one child. And then it gets further and it gets worse. You're always left with the ashes, and those ashes are sold to food companies and are incorporated into things as a flour product, as natural seasoning, as natural flavoring. Um, and the general public then is paying money into the system for these products.
So we're being bombarded with eating or consuming in some way, shape, or form dead children.
Yes, and the occult has, before these ashes are sold, they are doing spells or curses or other things to link demonic spirits and things that will cause health issues for us. And in the long run, then those health issues cause us to have to buy more pharmaceuticals, which they manufacture. Some of those pharmaceuticals even include human remains. So those ashes can be sold into our food companies. It can be sold to our pharmaceuticals. Good Dog and I, in our video that got officially deplatformed, we showed a video where um, I think it was the U.S. Marshals had caught they were trying to bring pills and capsules that had human remains in them into America, and that was from China.
Because China does it quite a bit. Now, because I've heard that's part of
Yeah.
is China really Luciferian too at the top? I mean, is every country?
Every country is.
Garden area and employees led us to underground tunnels. We had to take an elevator and stairs. We had to be led. There is no way that you can just walk into a tunnel. The entrances and the exits are in your face, but there's no way that you can just walk through tunnels. You'll get stuck. You'll go deeper and deeper, and you won't be able to come back out because it's hard, because the tunnels run all different directions for miles and miles and miles and miles. So if you go down the wrong one, you'll get stuck, and it's confusing to turn back around and get back to where you're going. So you have to be led in and out. I think people assume that when you get underground, it's just this dirt, and you keep going deeper, and there's more dirt, and then there's cages of children. No, that's not how it works. There's cities underground. There's warehouses underground. There's actual homes underground. People build these tunnels, and they've built them for decades. There's a lot, and elite celebrities, they go down there for parties.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Stu. I really appreciate you.
So in July of 2020, you came out on Instagram, you couldn't bottle it up anymore. You made claims about Barack Obama and Joe Biden that shocked the world. How did it get there? Take us through your story.
Well, you know, I as young as I remember, I've been trafficked through many elite places. I went from the Buckingham Palace to um, under the Getty Museum in Los Angeles, still under the custody of Child Protective Services, the child welfare system. Um, it went from trap houses in your everyday neighborhood of Moreno Valley, California, um, and Los Angeles County, strip clubs, um, and into Hollywood elite parties. Uh, there was never a time of peace in my life. And I remember very clearly since 4 years old, there was never a time of peace in my life. Um, it's been ongoing.
Who started all of this? I mean, your mother originally. And then
Yes.
who carried on? How did you end up in Buckingham Palace and underneath the Getty Museum and alongside some of these household names that I just mentioned?
When I was a child, there was many things that went on in the home. I tried to talk. I tried to let people know. Child Protective Services were called constantly since I was 3 months old. By the time I turned 13, I had enough of being raped and beaten and tortured behind rocks on La Salle in Moreno Valley, California. I had enough of going through dealing with my mother's boyfriends. She was nothing of a mother, but I had enough of dealing with them at 4 o'clock in the morning. I had enough of being the favorite out of the girls, and I couldn't take anymore. So I tried to kill myself. When I turned 13, CPS came into the picture. I was put into mental hospitals, and then finally I was put into foster care. I thought things would be over from there. I thought it would be fine, and then after all of that, I started thinking that I was talking to someone online, but everybody knew me before I knew them. I was trafficked by a pimp who claimed to be 27 years old, and he was not. I found many passports, many different um, birth dates for him in his wallet. And when I told CPS this, they put him down as a 27-year-old boyfriend, and he was a 27-year-old trafficker that was going in and out of my homes, paying off my foster parents, and taking me to Hollywood elite parties over and out of the country, which is, you would think, would be where the FBI would have stepped in. I was letting my social workers know, and they told me to stay quiet. They told me that if I told anybody else, that I would be shipped off to Arizona and no one would ever find me again. So, at one point, you learn that you have to deal with what you have to deal with when the people in authority are not there to help you. And everybody is so worried about the elite. And we could give those names of Barack Obama, Joe Biden. We know about Michelle Obama, that's a man. We know about Too Short. We know about Akon and Steven Tyler. And we can give those names all day. And everybody is so worried about that. But what you should be worried about is the people that are in between, the people that go as low as your grave diggers. I was trafficked to people within my schools. I was trafficked in underground tunnels that link under your schools, through your cemeteries, under your amusement parks, through Universal Studios, and into Hollywood elite homes, all over the place, all over the world. And people don't understand that, and they can't fathom that, and they can't put that together. But if you think about the things that have come out lately, and there's 200 children missing, and there's 300 children missing. What Amber Alert did you receive? How many times do you receive an Amber Alert every year? And if you think about that, how many children are coming up in your face that have been tortured and abused like this? It exists and it's real. And people don't want to face it. It happens in your schools every day, as your grave diggers, your trash men. Everybody is involved, but everybody is looking at the top, and that's just a small percentage. And you really need to look at the people in between.
So the names that you just mentioned, Barack Obama, Steven Tyler, Joe Biden, Michelle Obama, have you had personal sexual experiences with these people?
Yes.
These people participated in sex abuse firsthand with you?
Yes. I was sold to Joe Biden. Multiple times. Sometimes people don't talk about it, because when you don't talk about it, it makes it okay. When you don't talk about it, it makes you bury it. When you don't talk about it, it's easier and it kills that part of you. Um, I was sold for blowjobs. I was sold for sex. Um, there is many people who trade to eat, beat, and rape children under the ground. Um, I have many friends that I've lost, and I have many people that I've met that didn't make it, that refer to me as a traitor.
And that's because they're still dealing with this right now to this day.
Yes, there are millions just like me. There are millions worse off than me. There are millions that people cut off their limbs so they don't fight them back when they rape them. There are millions that they take pleasure in draining their blood and using it as a source of a fountain of youth. People have many sick fetishes, and the Hollywood elite, we sign their paychecks. We sign all of their paychecks every single day. This when you stream their music, when you buy something from their brands, we sign their paychecks. And these are the people that have put something in your face and made you want to believe that you are the ones that are responsible to make them look the way they look. Their image is not what you think it is.
You say that Trump has given money to trafficking organizations. You mean organizations that fight trafficking? Right?
Human trafficking.
I just want to make sure that I understand that. He's not participating in funding human sex trafficking.
No, that's not what I believe, and no, that is not what I've ever heard. I believe that Trump has done something because he is the only president that has mentioned it, and Trump is the only person that I haven't seen, to be honest with you.
So firsthand, these people were in a room with you and they raped you. I mean, there's no other, I want to be absolutely 100% candid. Barack Obama, yes. Joe Biden, these people raped you. And you say that you have these mountains of evidence that nobody wants to look at. What evidence do you have?
We have police reports, we have rape kits, we have information, we have videos, we have so much. But again, there's so much that I can't put completely out there, and I have mountains of it. But I do understand that when I was 16, I ran away from CPS. This is how I escaped. I was auctioned to Russia. I knew that if I went to Russia with this man, that I would not come back and I would die. So I ran away and I hid for a year. I did what I had to do, and I can't say exactly what I had to do because it would put some people in danger. But I'm here and I'm alive. During this time, my pimp sent fake FBI to homes to interrogate, to disrupt the neighborhood. But when the suspects that they thought were the ones that were guilty and called them back, they didn't want anything. They didn't want to talk. They just wanted to see exactly where I was. It didn't end from there. It hasn't ended at all. I'm 27 years old now, and it should be done, because if this was just about sex, if this was just about money, this would be over. But this is not what this is about. MK Ultra exists. DID exists. This hell exists.
Explain that for people who don't understand what that really means. So what is this really all about?
This is all about power and control. MK Ultra is a mind control programming. It happens to Hollywood elites. It is happening right now to Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan, many celebrities just like them. But nobody understands and nobody knows, because it's a part of control. It's like someone has the remote to someone's life and no one knows who's pushing the buttons. Dissociative identity disorder happens when you have nowhere to go with the trauma, when you have nowhere to go with the pain. So your mind splits and shatters into a million pieces, but those are people that have had to take a part of the pain and do what they have to do to stay alive.
So a lot of your detractors, skeptics, would say Allie Carter waited until July of 2020 to come out with all of this on Instagram. That was conveniently just before a highly contested hot presidential election. This is a political hit job. That's all this is. To those people, what do you say?
human sex trafficking, human child trafficking is not an argument. It's not a political issue. It's not a religious issue. It's not a sexual orientation. It is a humanity issue.